Okay. Hello, everyone. Saying hello. I'm Don Gruneman. I'm a doctor of chiropractic. I'm the founder and director of the National Straight Pride Coalition, and I'm here for this episode, which I'll explain in a moment, with our group, our Stanislaus County Straight Pride Coalition group. And this is the first of a whole series. I'll call it a video book. So this is the very beginning, and this book could have many chapters. We're going to have 10-minute chapters. And this will be the introduction to what I will overall title, How the Straight Pride Coalition Can Save America. Mm-hmm. And so what we're going to discuss in this series, which could have 50, 100, I won't know how many episodes we have per se, but this will be a very in-depth, intensive look at why do we need a Straight Pride Coalition, what is the purpose of it, what are the founding principles, what do we expect to accomplish. All of that stuff will be thoroughly discussed at the end of the series. So you may be frustrated in the first sense because we're going to be very meticulous in what we talk about the reasons and rationales. Very meticulous. And there's probably going to be a lot of competition, but I would say by the end of this series, I'll put in, or some of my fellows can put in, so I get an award for the most politically incorrect series ever made, YouTube series ever made, because we're going to be very politically incorrect. And we're going to talk about what is political correctness and why it occurs, all of that stuff. We're going to get very, very in-depth. So with that as a preface, and this is being number one, chapter number one, and we're just going to go 10 minutes, and so my august production team is going to give me a signal at 9 minutes, and so I'll just wrap it up as quickly as I can, and we'll cut it at 10. Every chapter of the book will be 10 minutes. So we're going to discuss many, many different topics, which at first seem different from the overall topic of National Straight Pride Coalition. But we're going to tie them all together, but they are absolutely essential elements to have an understanding of what we're going to be talking about. So the very first thing is I'm looking around for a book which I brought, and I don't see it. Oh, here we go. Well, the very first thing is that we're going to be discussing the heart. And there'll be a particular reason why we do this. And so my memory is not in step with when it happened, but a few years ago, perhaps within the last 10 years, there was a Nobel Prize awarded for the creation of an artificial heart. And so I want you, my viewers, to think about this. To create an artificial heart, all the things which have to be done to create that, you have to have, what kind of materials is it made from? How do you get the logistics into it, of how do you get the fluid into it, the blood? How do you pump it out? What is the power source of the heart, of this artificial heart? How do you power it? How do you make sure it has a durable power source? How do you have it function with the beats like the normal heart? How do you develop the chambers? How do you attach it to the if you're replacing a real heart, how do you attach it to the arteries and veins so it doesn't break away right away? There's a fantastic amount of things which go into the creation of just an artificial heart. Flow rates, how do you make sure the blood flows through smoothly as compared to getting whirls and like in the river when you have a swirl and an eddy and like a pool of water which stagnates. How do you make sure you have a good clean flow? Fantastic number of things. So to create just an artificial heart, you have to have a team of scientists. It's not just Joe scientist sitting in the basement, I can create an artificial heart all by myself. You need a whole team of researchers of the quality of the materials. How do you get the plastic? How do you make the material to make the plastic? A fantastic amount of things. So it takes design, it takes thought. A fantastic amount just for an artificial heart. So I can't reiterate that enough. And so we have an artificial heart in our body. Our heart, which the artificial heart replaces, is a fantastic, an utterly fantastic structure in itself. Receiving blood from the arteries, putting it through the lungs to get oxygenated, receiving that oxygenated blood back in, pumping it into the body. So it's a fantastically complex structure, and it beats. And it has the nervous system to give those beats. It has a special type of myocardial muscle, which is different from the muscles in the rest of your body. So it can endure all this continuous beating. So in and of itself, and it repairs itself Artificial heart, you have to have Joe doctor or Joe scientist come in and it's messed up. You go to them and they say, oh, we got to replace it or do whatever, get a part for it. Go to the parts department for an artificial heart. Well, your own heart repairs itself just like your own body repairs itself. And so your own heart is a fantastic, utterly fantastic structure. Super fantastic. And so this is where I'm leading to a basic principle of what we'll be dealing with. And this will be a shocker for some. Actually, I had a gentleman call me up yesterday and who laughed at what I'm about to say. And so the idea is that there is no possible way for evolution to have created your heart. It is absolutely impossible.
Yes.
And I want to back up from that this particular book, which you can also reference yourself, is called Science versus Evolution. And Science versus Evolution by evolutionfacts.org. Let's see, you go to evolution-facts.org. This destroys all of the arguments in favor of so-called evolution. Evolution is not science, it is theory. And the person who called me up yesterday when I said that the heart was created, he laughed, oh, you're one of those creationists. Yes, I am. Because we have two choices. We have either the creator, we are a created being, which is where I'm coming from. The Christian religion says that we were created by God, a super intelligence far beyond our pea brains, who has a fantastic ability to create a fantastic structure like our body. And so that is a foundational view of what we will be presenting in the Straight Pride Coalition. We are created beings. The opposite view says that we evolved from mud, water, time, and all that stuff. And we evolved from an amoeba or single cell, however that occurred, up to the fantastic complexity of our body. So I want to really pick this apart, and I want to use one argument from the Science versus Evolution book that they say that you have a fantastic number of proteins in your body, which are made up of amino acids. And so we'll pick up just one protein called an enzyme, which is needed to function properly in your body, among many other things. And that enzyme may have typically, at a low number, maybe 20 amino acids, which have to be sequentially put together, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 through 20, in order to work. If you put number 5 and 6, switch them, it doesn't work. And also, the mass majority of enzymes, I forget the term for it, but there is handedness. The molecule is made in such a way that it's what's called a left-handed molecule. If it's a right-handed molecule, it won't work. So it has to have this 1 through 20 structure and be constructed in such a way that when it comes together, it works. Anything else, a replacement or taking 1 and putting it into 20 or whatever, a mixture of the amino acids, it doesn't work. So I present this example to you. Irrespective, it's a question of, we're not going to even talk about how did the amino acids get there in the first place to be able to link up to form the enzyme. We'll just say that in this room, we'll have a fluid-filled room and you have these 20 amino acids wandering around. So they can get close enough to each other to link up. And this is a little bit changed from the actual mathematics, but the reality of it is that what are the chances of amino acid 1 linking with amino acid 2? Out of all these 20 amino acids, we're not saying how they got here, how did they get close enough to link? We'll just accept it as it is. So what are the mathematical chances of 1 linking to 2? 50%. Yes or no? So, okay, we've got 1 minute left, and I'll try. We'll have to continue this in our next discussion. But the idea is that 1 to 2 is 50%. If you can give me a 30-second mark. 2 to 3 is also 50%, and all the way down the line. So what are the mathematical chances of that entire chain? You have 0.5, half, times 0.5. And I believe when you work the whole thing out, it's 9.657, but with 6 zeros in front of it. So we've got 30 seconds left. So I want to leave that to you, that we're talking about a virtual mathematical impossibility that one enzyme could self-create through evolution by itself. With that being said, this is chapter 1 of the National Straight Pride Coalition. I'm going to get a cutoff at 10 minutes here in just a moment. Thank you for listening, and God bless you, and we'll continue in this series in just a moment.